All right, grand evening, everyone. It's Shay Seeking, and I'm back with another video. And again, for me, this whole journey of finding me, going within, you know, uh, trying to make sure that I am going in a direction that will be pleasing to Elohim and the ancestors. And so, again, I've been talking about this whole journey that I've been on for a couple of months now. Now, in my heart, I feel like, um, there's some reason why I picked up this book today. And I feel like with current events and, just being someone that, again, um, can see but not see, right? So, over the course of events, I feel like it's a parallel or different levels to this journey. There's portions of it that I'm able to see, and there's portions that I can see like in hindsight by just being aware of surroundings and just peering in or um, kind of paying attention to what's going on in my feed, right? With those that are soul siblings, those that are maybe not, those that are around me, and those that I've been communing with again in the spiritual realm in here. So I don't know. Today I picked up this book, and again, I'm gonna do like how I always do, kind of like a scrying kind of thing, where I'm reading the text, but while we're going through it, it's gonna just be triggering things to help me remember and see. So, again, I know that there's a lot of things that, again, for whatever reason, have been a blockage for me. Whether it is, again, an outside force that is trying to, again, um, I'm not okay with being swept under the rug. Okay. Because again, the whole thing that I feel has been going on or has occurred, regardless of who it would be or how it would work. I feel like for some reason I've had uh, some type of a binding something on and around me where it may be that people may think that I'm aware, but I'm not aware of all things. And I think this is done by some type of sorcery or something like that. Again, it could be a blockage. You know what I'm saying? It could be something from within. Um, you know, um, it could be something dealing with source and me maybe veering off. It could be, what I'm saying? I'm just somebody that's just 100% open about how I see things and things so that people can kind of be aware. And then also it may help other people on their journey at some point in time. So I'm pretty open with, there's no, I do this freestyle, there's no planning or anything like that. Again, those who have ears to hear will hear and eyes to see will see. But we're in Jung and the Lost Gospels, right? So again, this is kind of even veering off of what we stumbled across. And again, I think that there's a reason that this is occurring. I think that source is also, it's just either ancestors or source are trying to push me through. They know that that I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. They know that there's a lot of people that are taking crafty counsel. So again, the best way with whatever is going on with me, and again, I feel like I have a spirit of some type of a binding or a blind something that is hovering over. Again, I make no excuses about anything, but I notice things, and I do notice that I notice things that are out of excuse me, out of character for certain individuals. Again, I'm not claiming to know everybody, and everybody's not going to talk about these circumstances out loud and put it on Front Street. But for me, I have to, because again, like I said, I feel like I have been in a sense isolated, and I feel like certain things have happened, and I feel like certain energies are trying to let me know or ask or say it's over, or your turn is over, or your time is up. And again, for me, I'm somebody that has like a rebellious kind of something, I don't know, or maybe it's not even, I just still, once I recognize something, I just want to bring it forth. And that's just me. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and, okay, read just a couple of parts in here. We're just going to skip through and then we're going to start to read. Because this is a part right here that I was talking about. Let's see. Yeshua was, it says Jesus, but we're going to use Yeshua, was intimately associated with his own female disciple, Mary Magdalene. Okay. As we see, these women were much more than disciples and came to represent the divine feminine in association with the masculine Messiah. Now, again, in my eyes, I'm not going to speak any names, but I see these individuals in our so called community. You know, it might be divided in a sense, but again, I'm a seer, so I can see certain individuals. And I also can see myself in a lot of these different entities, right? So it says, as we shall see, these women, okay, we already read that part. It says, it is often assumed that the Hebrews were fiercely opposed to goddess worship in all its forms. Okay. This may be as far as an utterance of many of the prophets are concerned, but it is to be doubted that the Hebrew popular religiosity shared the misogyny of these mouthpieces of the Lord. Both the Egyptian and the Babylonian matrix of spirituality, which were so closely associated with the early Jewish history. Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to see how we can just skip around and just kind of get the good viewpoints. Which were so closely associated with early Jewish history, were greatly attached to feminine deities, and the common Jewish people felt frequently deprived because their leaders gave them a lonely male god without a consort. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna skip forward a little bit, and we're in the chapter that's called the feminine wisdom. Okay, and so it says, the Lord who protected us, but also the Lord God's wife, here called by the name of Asherah. Now, again, here we go with the Asherah, like that name, okay? A feminine form of one of the names of the Hebrew gods, similarly, in the 5th century BC, the Jewish soldiers stationed in Egypt and Elephantine, near present Assuan. Again, that's kind of, when I think about Esther, I think about Sioux Indians anyways. Again, those are some of the tribes that, some portions of my family will be connected to. So anyways, Sumerian, like it all just correlates in the way that I see my theoretical approach to this whole thing. So it says, where won't, well, yeah, it does say where won't, yeah, I guess maybe that's a typo. To worship Anat, Yahuwah, a goddess whom they regarded as the wife of their Lord, the God of Israel. Okay. Thus, evidence continues to manifest, indicating that the feminine was not totally absent from the pre-Christian. Again, and so this is what I'm kind of talking about, just like pre-Islamic, pre-Christian, all these things, because there was already things going on, like I was saying in the other video the other day, prior to the religious aspect being introduced. So again, we have to remember that these people were being dragged from one particular way, especially when it comes to nobility and everything, and then they place idols. Idols are just, if they take those people and take them off of the throne and then place someone else there instead. And again, whether gods or whoever would be doing this, I'm just bringing it to the table that this is what was going on. So let's see. We're going to keep on going. I think I'm going to just go ahead and down here. So it says, the principal literary work through which Koma, I don't know, it's kind of reminded of, oh, hold on one second. Oh, okay. I don't want the thing to stop. It says Chokma, but I don't know. There's some tribe that I'm thinking about that, or two tribes mixed that I'm thinking about when I say that, kind of remind me of that particular name. But it says soon came to be known by her Greek analog, uh, Sophia, the principal literary work through which Sophia made her grand entry into the stage of Alexandrian and Judean excuse me, spirituality was the Book of the Wisdom of Solomon, which in reality represents the first century BC recession of certain elements of hitherto secret Jewish tradition regarding the divine feminine. Okay, it is thus that Sophia, the feminine wisdom of God, subsequently so closely associated with the Gnostics, appeared in plain sight for the first time. She is represented from the beginning as the divine spirit pervading all beings. The book of wisdom of Solomon. She is in fact identified as partaking of the power of the Creator, the work of all things, the omnipotent, capable of doing all things, and as the mother of the gifts of wisdom and prophecy, okay, entering into holy souls in every generation, producing prophets and friends of God. There are certainly echoes present in this work of the ancient idea of the Kokma. Sophia may indeed be the consort of the Lord God. She glorified her nobility by being conversant with God. Yea, the Lord of all things hath loved her. Perhaps even more importantly, this feminine wisdom also becomes the lover of inspiratrix of the righteous and the wise. It is thus that Solomon, the archetypical wise man, declared his love for her. Her, for her. Her have I loved and have sought her out from my youth, and have desired to take her for my spouse, and I became a lover of her beauty. Furthermore, her guidance and her gnosis are considered essential by the author of the Book of Wisdom of Solomon for the proper conduct of a wise and holy life. So, I find it real funny how, some people talk again down about us looking at the story this way. But again, I hear people speak and I can hear this again. Like, so we're saying I can hear this particular thing being said, but with different terms in different ways. So, sometimes I often think, again, because sometimes I think about this as like the whole Matrix and like a Truman Show outlook on the whole thing. So it's almost like scripts, like people have scripts because it's random for them to speak in this manner, but they're using different coded ways to speak it. And again, for me, this is the word in these words is the only thing, like I said, this is what I delve into. Okay. And again, because this is my way, because this is the gift I feel has been bestowed upon me, because again, someone knew that some of these particular things will happen. And again, this is not even being cocky or any, this is a sense of knowing that something is going on, seeing it play out in front of you, and using certain gifts and using tools that I have within my home in order to combat things that I see happening randomly. I'm talking picking up books and things and coming right straight directly to the page that you need in order to combat something that has been done. So again, I would like to just say that this is no way, shape, or form me trying to be saying that this is, but I just know what I see here. Okay. And there's a reason why I see these things. Again, and that's what I'm saying. I see all the energies around me, some that I felt were for me, but maybe, you know what I'm saying? And I don't just trust. And this is why I have some of these issues with some of the things that might have occurred where there were some things that were kind of like shady looking, and I can't, you know what I'm saying? For me, or there were some things that I was probably felt that I was being urged to do that would not have conducted. It would have made me not be conducting myself the way that the word is saying that I should. So in those cases, I had to really tread lightly and really pay attention and make sure that some of these things were not obstacles in order to bring disgrace, you know what I'm saying, to my name or anything. But I think that when we're dealing with this spiritual world, the spiritual realm and this realm as well, and then when you're someone that can see things on this level and within and in the spiritual realm, it's really, really, really tricky. It's real, and when it all happens like at once, and it's just like a flood, you know what I'm saying, and you see like things going on, the world going on, you see different agendas being pushed forward, and it's just like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying, I'm supposed to have a part in that, but we're, you know what I'm saying, why does it seem like everybody's going in that direction and I'm just over here, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, the only way that I can just really combat any of it is, in the spirit realm, I mean, that's just the way that I'm looking at it, because I can actually feel and sense and see these things. I can see the players. I may not be able to speak on them and speak their names, but I see the players. So for me, I don't know. Like I said, this is kind of like a vlog, but we're kind of just like, I'm just taking you guys on my journey to a certain extent, you know because again, I feel like that spirit of nakedness, right, where to a certain level people have been able to peer in, but they only see one portion or one part of the story. They're not seeing the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So like, even through this past couple of months, like, major changes have happened in my household, in my lifestyle, with my relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's been a bumpy road, and for me, I'll be damned if it's made to look one way that it's not, you know what I'm saying, and to look like, it's not like a whole, what I feel like, a whole tornado didn't just come in from the spiritual realm, throw shit around in my life, right? You know what I'm saying, and act like it wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And act like this is the way they found it, or this is the way that it is. And again, this is just my way. Okay, just in case. So, and then again, to find out, or to start sensing that, and then you wonder why, there is an issue of, trusting going forward. But I think I think that some form of an energy has sent something in to give me that mindset, so that I can then not apply myself to certain things, and then I will be cast out to the side, because uh potentially that was what was supposed to happen in the first place. you know I see time travel, I see all kind of things, like, I'm not doing it, but I see that there are workers that are here from past, so called, and then some that are here from present times, and then some of us are being awakened or ascending in this time. Okay, and it's all happening for a reason. You got to be on your guard. And that's why I think distractions. You know what I'm saying? Anything that comes into my life, I see it as a distraction first. And I can get kind of taken by some of those things and go down those roads. But at some point in time, I see something, and then it makes me stop. You know what I'm saying? And go and be stagnant, and just really try to listen and pay attention and ask for guidance. You know what I'm saying? At that time. So it says, send her out of thy. Okay, so again, okay, the book of the wisdom of Solomon for the proper conduct of a wise and holy life. And the reason why I read out of these books and texts, so, I'm just showing you how some of this stuff correlates with some of the things that, again, I've been sharing with you guys on the channel, on the platform. So it says, send her out of thy holy heaven and from the throne of thy majesty, that she may be with me. So again, once I look at something like that, it makes me think of something where it's like, somebody is asking a favor. It's asking, not, don't ask her if she wants to be. No, send her out. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost as if she is a prized possession, or a like a trophy, or almost like she's like a object or something. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying. I like to bring a voice to these particular women. It's something that I feel like is a part of my journey and of my purpose, and it's a part of me. You know, so and how I see things again going and leveling out on this plane right now, moving forward. you know, because I think we're, some people may get caught up into, you know, that feel good feeling. But again, a majority of our people are not going to be in those positions or those statuses to be in charge or taking. So those are going to be the people that these things are going to affect. And so again, that's why I speak out about these particular type of things in this time. Okay. To bring awareness, to have people still question everything. That's all I'm doing. So send her out of thy holy heaven and from the throne of thy majesty. Wow. So again, that feeling of, in a spiritual sense, the whole thing, there's a lot of talk about thrones. And so, like in my case, there's a thought of a throne that, again, I'm going to have to fight for. In the spiritual realm, not even having my eyes fully open, not even being able to see, not even being invited to the table, but it's going to be going down, and you're just going to have to catch wind to see what's going on. And it may look as though but you don't. You know what I'm saying? And so again, it may seem as though you're reneging or something, but really you are someone that, and I think somebody was saying something the other day about fallen angels and how there's a cloak of deception that they placed on certain individuals so that they would not be able to see, so that they would be able to, that some of these beings would be able to, in a sense, um, manipulate things, or change things or alter things, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just, I don't know, these are just things that I see and feel, and some of the things that I know. Okay. That she may be with me and may labor with me, that I may know what is acceptable with thee, for she knoweth and understandeth all things, and shall lead me soberly in my works, and shall preserve me by her power. Okay. Um, so it says, while the book of Wisdom of Solomon may be said to represent the feminine wisdom by way of the most exalted imagery, this wisdom is already represented in the very similar manner in the older biblical books of Proverbs. Wisdom is represented here as crying aloud in the land and in the streets, exhorting people to abandon their childish ways, and to cast away their hatred for gnosis. Okay. So again, this is my story to the T. This is what I'm doing on my platforms. And this is, again, what I feel like I'm here to do. But again, I feel like there is definitely a spirit of someone placing idols. Like, again, so the reason why I'm sharing it like this, and sharing the whole, as much as I can, of the journey with you guys, is that, somebody can be something. Yeah, they can have documents, they can have this, but if you have it, something that is within you, and you're able to show that to the world in a sense, without calling yourself something, but again, hoping people will be able to see what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? That's all I am doing. Okay. It's not all I can do, but it's all I'm doing. So, again, that's what this channel is really basically about, actually, especially lately. Okay. um and again, I've seen, again, today within my feed, I've seen people saying things, like about certain groups and stuff like that, and how we should be accepting of certain things. And I won't get too specific, because I feel like whatever the spirit is on a lot of us. If you're connected to source, I feel like any of us could be experiencing these things, and we can also be peering into other people. You know what I'm saying? So again, those, like it says, my sheep will hear my voice. They know my voice. So again, not to say it's my voice, but again, in a sense, in a Christ consciousness, or in the Ruach, or the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. So again, which sometimes I feel like the Holy Spirit is representing Yeshua in some points. And again, maybe a male and female twin flame or connected type of way. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Okay. Wisdom by way the most exalted imagery. This wisdom is already represented in the very special manner of the older biblical books of Proverbs. Okay, so she's exalting these things in the street and, cast away their hatred for gnosis. So again, and sometimes when you're talking like this, I know this is not what gnosis mean, but I think that sometimes people, kind of are convinced that this person is a know-it-all, or they this, that, and that, and so that alone can bring people to, despise, or feel some kind of way, and that's where I think that the confusion comes in. So it says in the same book, wisdom is accorded primacy in all creation, and is called the firstborn of God, companion in God's work, and one who delights with him in his creation and in humanity. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and keep going. I'm skipping over just a little bit, distinctively feminine characteristics. This person takes on distinctively feminine characteristics again. So she's going to be somewhat very distinctively feminine, in a sense. I would say really soft, possibly. You know what I'm saying? We're just reading this, okay? And I'm just giving, again, I'm never here to tell you what it is or what it ain't. I'm simply sharing what it looks like to me, okay? So again, if I don't share my story, whose story should I share? You know what I'm saying? If I'm not going to share my story so I can tell you all of the things, or most of the things, or some of the things that I've seen, that I feel, that I sensed, that I know that you have already seen me speak. You know what I'm saying? How else can I, again, share my story without talking about the story, but also, bringing awareness to the fact that this is a collective thing, and that this could be going on again with other individuals in the spirit realm, and in here, in this worldly realm. Okay. So it says the archetype of the feminine wisdom has come to constellate itself as a glorious woman, as a goddess slightly disguised, who stands in a specially intimate relationship to all seekers of wisdom. Let's see. Whereas to the pious reader of Proverbs and the book of the Wisdom of Solomon, the wisdom woman appeared as the ethereal, okay, spirit of the higher worlds. To later individuals, she appeared as a physical woman, the first one to devise a mythological framework for the manifestation of wisdom in incarnate woman form. Was the aforementioned Simon Magus. It is reported that Simon encountered a woman named Helen and recognized in her the first thought, a synonym for wisdom, who long ago had descended into the created world, and underwent a process of deterioration and degradation. Simon himself is said to have expressed this process in the following poetic account. And I'm going to go ahead and read that, and then I'm going to stop and do a part 2. So it says, in the beginning, the Father intended to bring forth the angels and the archangels. His thought leaped forth from him, this thought, who knew her Father's intentions. Okay. So again, at this point, what can I do? So again, when it comes to Elohim or Adonai, I feel like, I would be lying to you guys to not say that I don't feel, again, and there's no reason for me to make this stuff up or anything of that nature. To know that there has been a feeling and an involvement, again, within the spirit realm and on this worldly realm to a certain extent, that I feel like this was happening when you hear me talking about different entities and stuff like that being involved with, at a point I'm thinking like, okay, so these individuals or these entities have been sent here to help or guide or show me something or tell me something, or just, messengers, because angels again were messengers or whatever, in the biblical text, or looked at as. And so again, in that sense, I feel like in the spiritual realm, I had this feeling of that someone coming to show something or something, a companion in the spiritual realm to help lead me into or down this road. Okay. But I also feel like there's some that were, again, when we talk about that whole story of Rahab or whatever, sending in spies into the temple or over the wall. And I think that, again, to me, that represents, to me, sometimes I feel like a form of witchcraft. And I think it's a female entity or energy in that biblical text that has sent over some spies into let's even just say the temple or the mindset, because we had to get out of this way of thinking that, we have to remember that there was a certain form of ancient technology and telepathic, uh you know even so-called remote viewing or something like that, you know what I'm saying, that was going on at certain points in time in this story. So if you start thinking about it in that way, and you think about, how, again, we are also experiencing things where we can tap into other energies, or they're calling astral, or different type of things like that. Okay, we'll just, again, I'm not trying to go too deep, I'm just speaking. Okay. So again, I feel like that spirit, I can see that spirit also. So that's why I'm just kind of like weird about, speaking on things, or even letting, excuse me, it's like almost like the whole thing of knew they were naked, and knowing that that means that you were open or exposed or whatever. And so it's like, I always feel like there's a eye peering over my shoulder, in a sense, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it feels like it is a good energy, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's like a succubus kind of, like it's something there to draw something from. Okay. And again, I can't always identify which energies when. So that's the very confusing thing. Okay. So again, some of these energies sometimes get intertwined, or it's just like, wait a minute, well, who was or what was, you know what I'm saying? So it's that's why it can be very draining, I think, dealing in this work. And so again, if I'm all the way dealing in this work, then that means that other things are going to be put on the, back burner, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? While you're doing this type of work, it's just real. Okay. So again, thus she descended to the lower realms. Again, and even this is reminding me of the story of Inanna, which again, Ishtar, Astara. Again, all of these entities and energies, I feel like, are still connected to that root. And I'll tell you why. And in this book, it's going to say something about the fact that this spirit of this all seeing, or all the spirit of this holy spirit, or ruach, you know um has been, again, we'll get to it, about how it travels, the soul travels or whatnot, is what I feel we're talking about. Okay. So again, okay, uh, so again, the angels and archangels, his thought leaped forth from him, this thought, who knew her father's intention. Thus she descended to the lower realm. She bore angels and powers, who then created the world. Okay, so again, now it's saying that these angels and powers created the world. And I do feel like, to a certain extent, that, you know, um, that could possibly be so. But then again, some of these angels will be angels that will be very, aware of certain things, you know, mm, you know, hmm. It's almost like, even like sometimes how you can feel like, if you put forth something or information or something in abundance, right? And you start to see, like, even those that may have despised at one point the information, you'll start to see, like, even if it's in code or parables, you'll start to see that, the information is being spread or shared or seen, even if the people don't really deal with you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, some things that there are a minimum amount of people doing them, right? And especially within the so-called community, indigenous so-called community, American Indian so-called community, a lot of us kind of recognize each other and see each other and know each other's work to a certain extent. We've been walking with each other for a while. So again, there's really no need to, there's no, people are going to see what they're going to see. Okay. Now there might be an energy that comes in and changes that, because again, this whole sense of awareness, or this whole sense of a one-sided aspect of things that may be done in the dark. But at the end of the day, you know, people are going to think what they're going to think. And then some people are going to know what they know. And there's a time to speak and there's a time to not. There's a time to be all in it and tell it how it is. And there's a time to kind of sugarcoat it. And I really don't like sugarcoating, you know. So, and you guys know how I deal with the word and, things like that. So, So again, that's reminding me of the story of Inanna. Just again. But again, this is the part where I feel like we are at this point in time. But after she thus bore them, she was held captive by them. She suffered every indignity from them, and she could not return to the Father. So again, in all aspects, I just want to talk about this for a second, because, this is where it comes into play, where, I was reading something like this in another text. And it's like, I think it's like kind of like not right. And that's why I'm going to speak out about this again, because I'm seeing, right, on a different level, right? So a lot of times I think that these things that have been done to disregard or defile the females are things that are out of their control. It's things that are happening by sorcery, by things that are happening behind closed doors, and things that are happening, you know what I'm saying, to particular women, in order to, again, sometimes refuse or reject and then worship idols, or, it's things like that. Or even sometimes maybe the woman herself, knowingly or unknowingly rejected something. And then, again, sometimes we don't know it because we've been lied to about the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people don't know that certain things are being used against them. They don't know how to protect themselves because, again, we've lost all sense of so-called culture a long time ago. There's some people in some, groups in some states that are strong still in certain things. You know what I'm saying? But then there's others that have lost contact, and there's some of us that are regaining it also. You know what I'm saying? With the ancestors being involved, and so, let's see. So again, I know for a fact, by going through some of these spiritual things, by having these visions and having these dealings, that I know for a fact that some of these women were misrepresented. And there were certain things that were happening to them that they could not have any idea was going on. I know for a fact. And sometimes I think certain energies can try to make you feel like that, so that they can have an advantage or have you feeling in a way like, oh no, I've done something. But if you stand strong in who you are and you know what your dealings are, and so the Most High or whatever, the Father knows your heart, right? And he sees all things, right? So then how can someone tell you something that and again, how much of this stuff is happening in your conscious mind and in your subconscious. How much control, again, I heard someone speaking on this today, do people have, over your the dream world, right? When it comes to people that are targeted, or people that are, again, we'll just stop there. So again, and in my eyes, I'm gonna keep on uh rising. And I would hope that any women that, would too. So um let's see. So again, and then, okay, and she could not return to the father. And again, it's funny how some of this stuff is said, but like, even when I read that part, I read just this little part earlier, and I started to commune with Elohim about how I felt some kind of way about this, and I'm hoping that, again, you know, some things may be cleared up. Again, I mean, I have confidence in communing with Elohim. I didn't always feel that way, but again, now whether he, you know what I'm saying, is hearing me every time or not, but I feel like that it's not to the point where, when I was younger and I didn't understand any of this stuff, and I looked at everything like in the church so strange, and I would be praying, but really like, you know, when I started saying it more like I'm communing with, I don't know, things change for me. And it's not like I didn't know that there's a higher force there the whole time. It's just, I don't know, something changed. Okay. And thus, from age to age, she passed from body to body. And again, I also still feel like, energy transfer as well. See, because some of these beings, again, that we allow within close proximity to us, some of them, and again, there's always the good and bad, and it's hard to decipher sometimes where and which. So I still also feel like there is also, some people may call it body snatching, but I say energy snatching. Okay. So again, those of us that are very powerful beings, you're going to have you have a certain aura or light, or even when we're talking about that firmament or that dome, you understand? That is around us, and people and certain beings can see that. And if they can chip away at that, then, you know, and it can be some things that we're doing, or some work that we need to do, that might be the cause of it as well. So again, it's not the blame game. It's just saying it for what it is. And I'm just sharing my experience this way. So again, into one female body after the other. Thus she became the lost sheep. Okay. And it also is reminding me of the cornerstone that was rejected, right? Because if we're talking about heads and removing certain heads and placing other ones there, that would be idol worship. Because again, I would have to say that the energy would have to fit a lot of different descriptions. And if it's not a multitasking, multi-universal, you know what I'm saying? We talking about some real cosmic beings here. Okay. Again, that may not always show their light or share their light, but again, you know them when you see them. And maybe it's just those that are them that can see them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I think. So, yeah. So me, all the time when I see these kind of things like this, became a lost sheep, or it's over, or, this, it makes me just cringe, and it makes me say, no, that's not the case. See? And again, that's what maybe makes me such a bad child, a rebellious child sometimes, because it's like, no. Because again, and I can do that because if I'm experiencing this, and if I'm seeing this, and I'm knowing this, then I can say, no, wait a minute. That's not the way it went down at all. So if somebody's telling you that, and if, you know what I'm saying? So I had to check what's going on then. You know what I'm saying? So just the way I see it. And again, I refuse. So again, we're gonna I'll read this last portion and we'll be done with this. And I'll go to part 2. And it says, one of the female bodies occupied by the first thought, said Simon, was that of Helen of Troy, the most beautiful and faithful woman known in to the ancient Greeks. Now, again, I don't know why, but again, recently, this year, I found out I was doing some research on my side, one of my sides of the family, and I found it was funny that that my family member was from, again, because this is kind of stuff that helps me see. Her name was Helena, and she was from Helena, Troy, and with the last name there was actually a what do you call it? A plantation there, actually. So on both sides of my family, there's plantations under those names. But I found it real funny. And then how I was looking up even about my grandfather, one of my grandfathers, and I saw that he was in some type of school, and I don't know, and maybe his mother taken in as a missionary. I don't know. I don't know, but it seems like they were in some place. They had been taken to some place. And I just can't really, because again, when it comes to these certain family lines, it's just like a cold, you know what I'm saying? It just goes real cold for me. But there's always new stuff popping up, on the websites and stuff like that. Hopefully one day this summer I can, get to a couple of these places because I really want to see them. And then, just knowing that the Trojan Wars and Troy and all that stuff, it has to do with the South here in the Americas. Again, if you want to say that it's over there somewhere, you can say that. But again, most of that stuff we're talking about, Athens and all that stuff, we're talking about right here, in the Americas. I think I did a video a while back because I went down by Spartanburg on Google Maps. I think it was Spartanburg because that's where the other family members are from. And it made me think about the Spartans. And then if you look back a couple months ago, I did one of those things where we went and looked at the layout of the land, and you can see like a figure there that looks like it's like doing the Wakanda forever in the ground. It's like a large male image or whatever in the ground. But anyways, that's hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Apologies. Yeah, I'm recording something. Okay. All right, come here. Well, I don't know what to. I'll make you some noodles since your throat is hurting.